all my friends were involved in the EDA. A lot of my friends were involved in the EDA when I was a teenager, and they kept asking me, and I kind of just no pushed it. And then I got a bad beating on the Carly. I was Abercorn Road, 1983, July, August 1983. I was going up to my father's shop, and three fellas. One of them had a skinhead with a black T-shirt with a Planksty. You know that big Christy Moore band Planksty on it, a tricolour on his arm. Now he did a lot of damage. Gave me a bad beating. He had a Christy Moore for years after it. Planksty. Well, anyway, um, so I got a bad beating going up to 83, and then in April 1986, no, March 1986, I got another bad beating on the diamond. I was going down to the my boss sent me down to the bank with a check, and a few fellas who knew who I was and where I was from. They got me at the top of Shipkey Street and they gave me a bad beating. One of them actually boasted about using steel toe-capped boots when they were giving me a hiding. But in the next month I was in UDA. April 1986 I was in UDA. Whereas I had resisted before, just thought I've had enough here. I was arrested in November 1989 under the Stevens Inquiry. Well, at that time I was detectives from England, but they became the Stevens Inquiry later on. So I was arrested, interrogated in Castlereagh for a few days. Then I was remanded in the Crum for 25 months. And then I was sentenced, but I had my time done and remand, so I only had to do. We did what was known as 5 days for the Queen. But the fifth day fell on Christmas Day, so I got an early Christmas present. They let me out on Christmas Eve. Only had to do 4 days for the Queen. Her Majesty.
And what was your charge?
Oh, charges. Well, I was charged with having documents and all that stuff. And then I was charged with possession of a gun with intent to endanger life, but that was later dropped. And then I was charged with conspiracy to murder. But I was acquitted in that, so I was.
So you got out just at Christmas?
Got out on Christmas Eve, 1991. And what happened was I had a minister, Reverend Graham, Carrow Presbyterian Church. It was around February, I think, January, February 1992. And he took me for a coffee and a bun. I'm trying to remember, it might have been the White Horse or somewhere. And he says, "You're out now, Trevor, a couple of months, blah, blah, blah. Have you thought about what you want to do with your life?" And I says, "Well, I was thinking about going back to the educational system." He says, "Hop in the car." So he drove me down to Limavady, told me to stay outside, stay in the car. He went in, right, came back out, and he says, "You're starting in September, Trevor." And that was it.
What did you study first?
When I was down there, I was doing GCSEs. I did English and European Studies and that. And then because I had already had a couple of O-levels, or the equivalent of O-levels. So I got what I needed anyway to do my A-levels, and then I got on the Korean then, 1995.
And do you see in the Crumlin, was there like education classes or?
Well, you see, that was the whole thing. I always thought you see, I did most of the time in remand, right? Sentenced prisoners had more like things going for them study wise. So I thought if I do any length of time was an extra prisoner, then I'll focus on education. But what happened then? They let me out.
And did you read a lot in there?
I read powerful amount of. I was locked up in the cell most of the time on my own, so I read lots and lots. But most of it was like Pulp Fiction, Wilbur Smith, and all that stuff. Harold Robbins, Sidney Sheldon. Devoured it.